All right, everybody on the train, all aboard. You snooze, you lose.
Buy my loot boxes.
Not you. Get off the train. Don't let him on.
Oh, okay.
All right, listen here, Greenhorn. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about how to conduct a podcast. First thing you need to know is never stay on topic, ever.
Sir?
What do you want?
People are complaining about the Venom movie still.
I don't care. Feed them Justice League or something. Get them off my back.
Copy.
Sir, it says in the book that you need to stay on topic as a podcast.
Screw the book, Greenhorn. The book was written by dinosaurs. Second thing you need to know is never report news that's not at least 2 or 3 weeks old.
Sir?
What do you want?
People are complaining about the Pokemon Go update.
I don't care. Just gag them or something. Shut them up.
On it.
Sir,
What do you want, Greenhorn?
I think the train might be going off the rails.
That's exactly how we run this show. This is the Crazy Train of Thought podcast, brought to you by the Idiot Savants. Find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
www.crazytrainofthought.com.
PodAskew Podcast is a proud member of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network.
Dinosaurs are fucking super cool, yeah. Learn about them in elementary school. Oh, dinosaurs are fucking super cool, yeah. Learn about them in elementary school, yeah. Fucking dinosaurs. Fucking dinosaurs. Motherfucking dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. They're fucking cool, yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to the PodAskew Podcast.
Wait. Who the fuck are you, dude?
I'm Octopus Caveman.
Dude, my nemesis?
Yeah, this is Nemesis Cast.
Oh. Okay, so hi, guys. This is Rico. We're doing a little impromptu podcast episode for PodAskew Podcast. So the wonderful Octopus Caveman is in my neck of the woods. So we arranged a little thing, and I came out here, and this is sort of a surprise. Even CJ doesn't know about this.
Secret Cast.
Yeah, Secret Cast. A little askew, PodAskew.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. So, OC, what's going on with you, man?
I'm up here for work, hanging out in a hotel, and trying to recover from last night's drunken misadventures.
What was your poison of choice?
Canned wine.
Why the fuck would you drink canned wine?
Okay, here was the thing.
Oh, there's a thing.
Yeah, I was down in the gift shop, and I was looking at, like, I guess there's liquor stores nearby, and, like, a smarter man would have just, like, Ubered to a liquor store, or, fuck, I got a car. I could have drove, but I didn't think that. I was just like, well, I'm stuck here in this hotel, so I went down to the gift shop, and I wanted to find the cheapest thing that packed a punch. And from my deduction, it was this canned wine at 13% for $12. So they had like a bottle of like Chardonnay there that was like, 11%.
Right.
But I thought this canned wine is fortified, They had some ales down there, but they were like $8 a beer, like ball game beer prices.
So you went for the
canned wine.
You went for the upper class ghetto route. I like it.
And I got a variety. So I got 3. I got the 3 varieties they had. I got the rosé, the Chardonnay, and the Pinot Grigio.
All right, which was your least favorite?
They tasted the fucking same.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't even like see the color even. So it's it's in a fucking can. So it's not like you don't get really any difference. It's just hardcore. But yeah, so tonight I'm down at the gift shop getting a Diet Coke. And there's a woman there, like she's like an attorney. She's like, I saw her badge. She's here for the same thing I am.
Yeah.
And she's, perusing the thing, and she asked the, like, person behind the register, like, oh, how's that canned wine? And I just went, like, it's hardcore, and she's like, yeah, I don't think I want that then.
Dude, you fucking booze blocked her?
I did.
You totally did.
I thought she would, like, maybe go for the Chardonnay or something instead after that.
Right.
But, like, my description of the canned wine, she decided to stay sober tonight.
Well, it's good to know the lawyers that we pay to fucking protect us and save us from going to jail and shit are drinking awfulness as much as we are.
I mean, yeah, just canned wine.
PodAskew does not condone drinking canned wine. If you do, just stick to one, because apparently mixing it doesn't make a bit of fucking difference.
No. You know what's crazy? There are things, like, even some beers don't make sense in a can. Like, you ever seen, like, a can of Corona?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Like, Corona needs to be in a bottle.
It's hard to put the lime in, too.
Yeah.
It doesn't help,
I love those, like, I don't know, I don't see a whole lot of people drinking them anymore, but those, the club drinks that you get at the liquor store?
No.
It's like the brand Club, but you can get, like, a can of Long Island iced tea.
I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like martini in a can. They're so awful. Like, they are on par with the canned wine, but that's such an old-timer thing.
Dude, who knew that, like, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia would predict shit like this? Because they were doing, like, a whole thing where, like, they would empty out, like, a soda can or something and pour wine in it.
That's Jesus juice. That's Michael Jackson invented that, man. That's what he used to serve to his little sleepover friends.
On that note, I don't need to be hearing about Macaulay Culkin and bubbles and canned wine.
This is a hell of a path we're taking, but I think Michael's innocent.
Really?
The two kids that he spent the most amount of time with, Macaulay Culkin, Corey Feldman, both of them are like, nope, never happened.
Okay, but here's my argument. Maybe he just wasn't attracted to them.
I don't know. I mean,
admittedly, they're both cute kids, but, like, even Corey Feldman has said, and I think I don't want to speak for Macaulay.
Corey was a bit older. He was an older boy by the time he met
But they
Michael.
both did say that Michael Jackson had a habit of just dropping people.
Right.
Like, maybe they, maybe they missed each other at the opportune time.
I mean, Macaulay, like, see, there were, like, the first accuser kid was, like, a little Latino boy. Mm. So that makes me think, like, okay, maybe that's his type. Like, he likes Latinos. But that one accuser that just came out recently, he was, like, a little blonde boy. And if you're into little blonde boys, Macaulay Culkin's, like, the holy grail,
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind when I'm in the mood for a little blonde boy.
But no, you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
If you're into blondes, I could understand being like, oh, you don't find Olivia Wilde attractive because that's not your thing,
right?
But if you're into blondes,
well, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he just wasn't home alone.
Well, you also could say that maybe he's a smart harasser, so he goes after, like, the poor kids, and Macaulay had influence. If Macaulay had outed him.
That's true. I mean, Macaulay had a huge following at that point. If he had said anything.
Yeah.
And Macaulay and I think Corey were both going through bullshit with their parents.
Right.
So it's like, if they made any stink about Michael Jackson, then there would have been more. It would have been more likely they would have been believed, is what I'm saying.
So this is some dark territory.
Yeah.
Did you see the shit with Jeremy Renner?
I heard about it.
So
he tried to. So it's really hard to fucking. It's a really dark segue, but
I got a take, man. Like,
well, let me just tell the audience first. So Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, allegedly threatened to kill himself and his ex-wife. So since he is Hawkeye, we know he wouldn't fucking miss. But.
That's a dark joke.
You're the one who brought it up, man. We went from Michael Jackson to Jeremy Renner. Like, how are we supposed to, like...
Here's my thinking, though. Like, so this is all coming out because there's a custody battle going on with his wife.
Uh-huh.
And, the minute that comes out, like, people all over the internet, Twitter and Facebook are just like, they take it as gospel.
Sure.
Like, oh, he did that stuff. Like, and here's my thinking. Like, my parents went through, like, a brutal divorce, and there was some horrible stuff said by my mom about my dad.
Sure.
it's pretty common to lie in these custody hearings and say the most outlandish shit. It's a regular thing to say either somebody's violent or abusing the children, either sexually or physically. And that's what people do. They say, like, well, you make up this lie and then you're guaranteed to win custody. I don't know if I buy it. And the fact that everybody else ate it up like it was gospel immediately, that bothered me.
I don't particularly believe it. Jeremy Renner has said this, that he has sort of resting bitch face. Like, he just, when he relaxes his face, he just looks sour and he looks depressed. I think that goes against him. I think he has, like, resting depressed face.
Right.
I don't think there's anything actually going through him. I will say that he has had an interesting up and down career. He's still successful. He's still doing great. But you have to remember, he also was being set up for, like, the next guy to take over, like, 2 franchises.
Right.
He was going to take over the Bourne Identity series, and he was going to take over Mission Impossible. They put him in there just for the sole purpose of, maybe if Matt Damon leaves, this guy will take over.
Right.
If Tom Cruise leaves, this guy will take over. And they both were like, no, fuck you, we'll go back.
Right.
And I think, not to mention, he's playing Hawkeye, who may have his own cult following, part of the Avengers, but, like...
He's the biggest bitch on the Avengers.
He's the
guy that always quits. Like, the comic book Hawkeye is terrible. What he did with the character in the MCU, he made him, like, more likable than I ever liked, but... He's the whiner in the comic book.
He really kind of is. I mean, and even, like, Joss Whedon, like, said, he was just, like, in the first movie of the Avengers, he was just super scowly. That's all he did.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look, I like Jeremy Renner. I think he is a voracious actor. He fucking terrified me where he played Dahmer.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Dude, that was scary as shit. And, he's more or less from the Bay Area. I think he's from Modesto.
Is he really?
Yeah, so I gotta, give him some love.
Man, I kind of believe that abusive stuff now being through I could buy it. Like, divorce makes you crazy. People do crazy stuff. I could understand him losing it in his divorce, and, like, what they said, he fired his gun into the air or something, and that he was threatening to kill himself and his ex-wife. Like, I could believe it. Maybe it's true. But my problem is the people just taking it as gospel just from somebody saying it right away.
Well, you remind me of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Right. Remember? It was like Johnny Depp's canceled. He abused her and all. And then it came out, like, way later that wasn't true. Or the Chris Hardwick thing even. His ex-girlfriend. Yeah. He lost his show, and I was watching people, like, on Twitter, people from the Nerdist, like, shitting on Chris Hardwick all over a rumor from an ex-girlfriend. Do you know how sad I would be if, like, my fucking bros, like, turned on me over some ex-girlfriend?
Well, lower rent, but he was also the second person accused during the Me Too movement was Andy Signore.
Right.
Do you know who that is?
No.
So Andy Signore was the guy who created I'm blanking on what it's called. It's that YouTube channel that's all like movie fights.
Right.
So he created, like, movie fights, and he also did he was, like, the go-to YouTube nerd guy, and he had started all that shit. And then he got accused, like, it was Harvey Weinstein and it was this guy.
Right.
And everyone was going crazy over Harvey Weinstein, and he kind of got eclipsed. But that's what happened, is all the people, all of his friends, all of his partners, all just pushed him out. And he released a video 6 months ago, give or take. And it was, a video he made, and it was a true confessional. And he said, listen, I did cheat on my wife. I'm not proud of it, and I slept with this person, yada, yada, yada. And then she started making these claims that, it was not consensual, that I held her down and basically raped her, yada, yada, yada. And he categorically fucking proved, like, he supplied text messages on the screen of, like, her saying, like, oh, great, come on to my hotel room, and maybe, we'll fool around, shit like that.
It was like Pro Jared. He had all the receipts,
So the fact that but I don't even know if it's worked out. I don't even know if it's.
I don't either. Remember, like, Dan Harmon got accused of something too. Like,
yeah.
There's these people where it's like you hear about the accusation, but you never hear what happens.
But I am the type of person where, no matter how we spin it, women get fucking raped. That's just how it is, and women deal with sexual harassment and assault infinitely more than men.
Yeah.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's an accusation, there's usually.
I don't think there's a woman alive that can say she's never been sexually harassed
Right.
or assaulted in some way.
especially in the
Groping.
workplace.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's more common than it happens. But unfortunately, there are these people, Amber Heard as
Right.
one of them, making up these allegations and ultimately trying to destroy someone's livelihood, their career. I mean, Johnny Depp got fired
Yeah.
from Pirates. To be fair, the last couple ones were
Yeah,
not
wasn't he
great,
drunk and like having somebody read his lines into an earpiece?
but because he was so fucking depressed. Because every night he was going home to fucking Amber, and she was throwing
Yeah.
she almost severed off his finger. She threw like a bottle at it and shattered it on his hand. So I'd heard this story when he was making the fifth Pirates that he had to have reconstructive surgery on his hand because he got drunk and it smashed through a window.
Fuck.
Turns out she fucking almost severed his goddamn ring finger off. So Johnny's coming back, but like the most recent Johnny movie that came out was like The Professor, and no one saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big.
He'll bounce back.
He'll bounce back, but it's like, imagine if there was like Al Pacino in the '90s or something, got a bunch of accusations, and Hollywood said, "Fuck you."
How come there's like no like 80s hair band people getting accusations?
Because
you notice that?
Because you expect that.
Yeah, I guess.
You expect, like, if Ozzy was like, oh, someone, a woman saying, oh, Ozzy, grabbed my tit, you're like,
Right.
that's all. I mean, it's not good,
Right.
but it's not like Johnny Depp either. It's
Dude.
not. It's surprising. It would be like Macaulay Culkin
Right.
in Me Too, or I mean, I would expect it more from Corey Feldman, but but
I think my favorite story that came out of like the Me Too movement. This is such a weird area. We just flowed into the weirdest area.
it's a weird area that like people are talking about that like. Not to say CJ and I won't talk about this, but it's never like, oh yeah, let's talk about the Me Too movement.
Right. So there was this like Indian millionaire guy,
Okay.
and he got accused of rape. And
Okay.
then I just saw it like on Twitter, like maybe a year ago.
Okay.
So this woman accused him of rape, and he went, "Actually, no, I've got surveillance videos throughout my entire house, just in case somebody tried to accuse me of stuff like this. Here's the tapes." And then the story changed to like, this creepy asshole's like surveilling everybody in his house, and it was like, but. I mean, you kind of proved why he needed to.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, you didn't rape a woman, but you're still a creep.
Yeah, now you're like,
And that's sort of
what
my
was that Ron Silver movie where he like was filming everybody in the apartment complex?
Sliver.
Yeah. He's that guy basically.
Fucking Billy Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a weird. By the way, this was not at all planned. This is essentially a rehearsal.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to go from there, man. I think Billy Baldwin just sort of stopped it.
Man, Billy Baldwin.
I would expect, like, out of all the Baldwins, like, not Alec to get, like, the one who's always in trouble. I would expect this. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess he has one that's always getting, like, going through drug rehab and shit like that. And I hope he gets through it, but, like, every time I hear the Baldwins, I think of South Park and Team America.
So
all the Baldwins are dead.
So I've got something phenomenal I need to share with you. Every Steven Seagal movie sounds like it could be like the title of a Lifetime movie about rape.
Under Siege.
Yeah, let me go through them.
Okay.
I'm pulling up the IMDb now, but they're all the titles of like a Lifetime movie network, like movie starring, Judith Light or something.
Lifetime Original Movies presents Steven Seagal in.
But yeah, this is just a weird thing I noticed. Like, I don't know why. One day I was just cruising Steven Seagal's IMDb, but think of these as a title of like a female empowerment, like a woman, like, recovers her life after.
She's a lawyer, and then she quits her job, and then she's becoming a baker, and there's a dog.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's an ex-boyfriend.
There was a rape, and she's like piecing her life together. Here we go.
It's during Christmas too.
Hard to Kill. Marked for Death.
Okay.
Out for Justice. On Deadly Ground.
Okay.
The Glimmer Man.
I don't know what Lifetime movies you're fucking watching, man.
Fire Down Below.
Okay, I agree with that one.
Exit Wounds.
Fire Down Below sounds like gonorrhea.
Out for a Kill.
That's okay.
Today You Die. Mercenary for Justice. Urban Justice. Pistol Whipped.
All right.
Against the Dark. A Dangerous Man. Born to Raise Hell. True Justice.
Has anyone ever seen any of these movies?
I have seen maybe a couple of them. Maximum Conviction. Yeah.
Maximum Conviction for sure.
Code of Honor.
Okay.
The perfect weapon.
Military Lifetime movie?
Yeah.
All right. Lifetime supply of pantyhose?
I swear, they all just kind of, I think they would be better movies, too, if this was just like, why aren't there more, like, female lead revenge movies?
Well, they're doing that now. That's the whole thing they're doing. Jennifer Garner did Peppermint.
Yeah.
Which we saw, Stephanie and I saw, and I was never and still am not a Jennifer Garner fan. Nothing against her looks.
That toe, dude. Have you seen the pinky toe?
No.
She's got a pinky toe that, like, swoops weird.
If I don't like someone, it's not going to be based on their toe. It's going to be because I don't like their fucking acting. I mean, she does this thing where she kind of, I don't know how to describe it when she...
Bro, look at that toe.
What's... All right, well, look, she could fucking audition to be a goddamn...
Look at this!
All right, man, I mean...
I'm shocked that she wears sandals with a toe like that.
You're being a little judgmental, man.
Yeah, definitely. But that's a weird situation going on.
I mean, it takes my eyes away from her fucking ears.
Oh, man, now we're just being dicks.
Well, you're the one bringing up her fucking medical toe, dude. Like, I'm sorry, Jennifer Garner. I just didn't like your acting. He's being all douchey because he got some fucking weird overtoe.
The toe
instead of the undertoe, it's a fucking overtoe.
It's an overtoe. Yeah. That's a good Steven Seagal movie. Overtoe. No, I love the female revenge movies. You know, here's a weird take, but I think Kill Bill would be better if you just eliminated Volume 2. You still have just one movie, call it Kill Bill Volume 1, and you end it with her talking to the woman in the trunk, at the end, and like, I'm coming for Bill.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then you just, in your head, you imagine, like, ooh, she's going to get him,
Oh, I disagree. I would have just preferred Part 2.
I mean, Part 2 is all the, like, wire fu stuff, and...
No, Part 1 is all the kung fu shit, and, like...
No, Part 2, that's where they got where she gets buried alive, and it's all the flashbacks to her learning the kung
there's
fu.
that. But there's just as much wire shit in Part 1 when she's killing the great renegades.
Yeah, I mean, but that's such a great... in my head, I think that in your imagination, the revenge would be so amazing. Like, but when you actually see it, it could be a little disappointing, and it's like...
But, bro, you have to see David Carradine.
Yeah.
Like, you have to see fucking...
He's so great in that.
You have to see Kane, show up and fucking be the bad guy.
I remember leaving Kill Bill Volume 2 and just thinking, like, man, they should have just ended it at 1.
I disagree, man. I loved Kill Bill Volume... I mean, I love... They're radically different genres, and they're still the same story.
Yeah.
First one is a Bruce Lee revenge film, and the second one is a fucking Western.
Yeah.
I think it's more poetic. I mean, the fact that how many people die in Kill Bill Volume 2, and she doesn't even kill any of them, except for Bill at the end.
Yeah.
She doesn't kill Michael Madsen. What's her fucked... Daryl Hannah.
Yeah.
Daryl Hannah doesn't
I was about
fucking
to
die.
call her Cyclops.
Yeah. Well, for half the movie she was.
Right.
And then now she's just...
No clops.
Yeah, no clops. Yeah, she doesn't kill anybody except for Bill. And I would like to see a Part 3, but I would also like to see Tarantino try a completely different genre. I mean, that's what he does, he picks a movie and then does his own genre. I don't know what the fuck Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was.
I loved it.
I was entertained, but I still think I need to rewatch it because it was just two separate fucking storylines that really kind of had nothing to do with each other. I was more interested in Brad Pitt and the whole Manson murders than I was for Leo's character. And he put in actors that I was like, this is going to be, I'm expecting greatness. Like Pacino.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, Pacino just really didn't do much in this fucking movie.
He was kind of wasted in it. It was good, but it was, if you get Pacino, you put him in there.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Tarantino did great work with De Niro in Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it.
De Niro is so great in that movie.
He's so good in that. And, I guess I just really wanted that more recent comeback Pacino role.
Do you think Tarantino's really going to stop after the next movie?
well, it's hard to determine what his next movie is going to be because he allegedly is going to do Star Trek.
Yeah,
And
I don't know.
Of all the fucking things, I would not want him. Look, first off, I'm not a Star Trek fan, but if I hear a Klingon say "fuck," it's even going to make me feel even weirder about it.
Yeah.
What I do want is for him to do a straight up suspenseful movie, because that was for me was the best, or at least one of the more intriguing parts of Hollywood, was that whole scene where Brad Pitt walks up to the house and this mob of fucking people and women just like behind him,
Yeah.
they're all kind of staring in
That
his
was
direction.
really beautifully done.
We don't know if the old dude is dead. We don't know if he's
Yeah.
there. We don't know. And then he meets He meets old ass Bruce Dern. See, that's what I want. I want Pacino to be the new Bruce Dern for Tarantino. Because when was the last time, apart from the Tarantino films and maybe Nebraska, when was the last Bruce Dern movie you thought of?
Yeah.
Exactly. So give him that meaty, gritty. Look, I mean, when Dakota Fanning is more intense than Pacino,
Yeah.
then,
Yeah,
then
that's a
you
good
kind,
point.
you kind of fucking, failed a little bit.
I always wonder what it's like for these actors when they get a Tarantino script and they're like, man, he's got me saying the N-word like
Right.
nonstop.
He's obsessed with that word.
I don't get it. How does he?
Because he's got Samuel Jackson as a close buddy.
Well, and also if he, like, usually in his movies, like the black guy's the smartest guy or the hero. Like a racist wouldn't have made Django, but it's like, what is up with the N-word all the time? I don't know a whole lot of people like I knew a couple of skinheads growing up that would say it, but on the regular people don't use it that often.
Yeah, but I've seen Tarantino be on, like, talk shows and radio shows with, like, a black host so they can kind of swear and fuck
Right.
around. And he just starts talking and acting black.
Right. Yeah.
And you're kind of
Black
like...
scent, yeah.
Yeah, and like, you're
Black
watching...
simile.
Yeah, you're watching and you're just like, dude, you're from fucking Tennessee. Like, you are saying the wrong vernacular.
Whenever he's on like Sway in the morning.
Yeah.
Watch those YouTube
Let me
clips.
tell you about these motherfuckers. So
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you wrote Jackie Brown doesn't mean you can live in Jackie Brown. You are not Chris Tucker, motherfucker. Chris Mother Tucker. But yeah, dude, Tarantino's a weird guy.
I think he wants people to just like him, and I think he really wants to be accepted by the black community. So I think that's part of the black scent,
I think Samuel Jackson coming to his defense helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because like Spike Lee started like accusing Tarantino of racism, and then Jackson came to his defense and said, "Look, he just happens to use a word because that's what we say, and he's speaking from for the people, and he's like frankly he's doing it to make better movies, which Spike Lee hasn't had in a while."
It makes sense in the context of like Django or
Hateful Eight.
Yeah, Hateful Eight. It makes sense. It makes sense from the black characters in
or the racist. I think the point
Right.
is that whenever he uses it, it's usually a racist hillbilly using that word.
right.
But it's also a lot of bombardment. It's a
But
lot of
his character in Pulp Fiction,
yeah.
I have a hard time
I
believing that a white dude with a black wife is going to be that loose with the N-word.
Maybe that's why he thinks he can, because Bonnie's black.
Maybe. But
Well-
I think it's the opposite. I don't think any white guy who's married to a black woman is ever gonna say that word around her.
And they'd be more sensitive to anybody else saying it.
right.
Yeah.
Be like, dude.
I mean, by that logic, if Jimmy and Jules and Vincent are in the same room and Samuel Jackson said the word, or Vincent said the word,
Right.
I would be more okay with Jimmy being like, whoa, we don't
Yeah.
say that in my house.
That would make more sense to me.
But I do think Quentin loves that word. Like,
Think about Scorsese in Taxi Driver. Writing himself into his own movie as like the racist guy.
but that wasn't originally
lives up there.
Don't say it. That
We'll
was
drop in a clip here.
But that wasn't originally for him. Someone bowed out,
Right.
and he said, "Oh shit, I'm gonna have to fill in this role." And then I think De Niro convinced him, like, "You should do this role because, like,
He's good in it, but it's kind of
I mean, in terms of the magnitude of Scorsese acting, I mean, I don't know if I prefer him in Taxi Driver or in fucking Shark Tale.
right.
It's hard to determine which is the more appealing role.
That's one of those scenes that I don't think is really needed, though.
I don't know. I think it was experimental, and I think it was using the point of using that word to push the envelope. And there, unfortunately, in my ethnicity, there is some kind of open racism for Italian Americans against black people.
Right.
I don't personally understand it, but I mean, I've seen relatives just like claim they're not racist, and then someone, a black guy, cuts in front of them in traffic on a bicycle or something, and they go, "Oh, you goddamn!" Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I'm just like, why would you say that? And then they say, "I voted for Obama." Okay, good for you, motherfucker. It doesn't mean you could use that word.
Right.
So
I don't think I've ever. I've definitely said the word, but I don't think we are getting into some heavy areas here.
Dude,
I've definitely said it, but I don't think I've ever said it in anger to somebody.
No. I think if I've ever said it, I think it's been as a joke to someone who knows I'm not being serious.
I think usually it'd be like quoting something, like quoting a movie line, a Tarantino line.
The Sicilian scene.
Yeah.
In True Romance.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how difficult it is for me to work as a video store clerk, recommend True Romance, and be like, "Oh man, when you get to the Sicilian scene, you're gonna love it." Like, well, what's the Sicilian scene? I'm like, fuck. Okay, well, Dennis Hopper wants to piss off Christopher Walken, who's Sicilian. Okay, and he does it by telling him that Sicilians were spawned by blankety blank, and he's like, "What's a blankety blank?"
Right.
Just watch the fucking movie, please, so I don't have to get in trouble here.
I heard Kurt Russell is the voice of Elvis in that.
No, Val Kilmer plays.
Val Kilmer plays.
Russell.
Kurt Russell's the voice of Elvis in Forrest Gump.
Yeah, good pull. That's right.
Yeah.
And he had played Elvis a bunch of times. I think John Carpenter made a movie.
Yeah, the TV movie.
Yeah.
Elvis. Yeah,
which is bizarre.
Say, son, show me that funny little walk you did there. I feel like Kurt Russell's lived his entire life trying to be Elvis Presley and John Wayne
for sure. Oh, God.
He's basically doing a John Wayne impression all through Hateful Eight. And it's delightful.
Yeah.
He's like, well, yes, you know.
It's if John Wayne was really just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a stupendous John Wayne impression, and I personally am not even a fan of John Wayne. I've always thought he was overrated. But I would imagine that Tarantino would have been like, all right, give me John Wayne, but really pissed off. Well, all right, I'm pissed off at you. So, you know what I think? I think a John Wayne impression is Katharine Hepburn if she was male.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, I can't deal with this bullshit.
I learned that.
All right, now.
If you ever work a really like a labor-intensive day or something, that's basically every Hollywood badass is just a sore, tired dude.
Do you think John Wayne even sounded like that in private?
I don't know.
I think he came home and talked normal.
I don't know. He feels like a guy who just was that.
He's like, oh, God. All right, the camera's off me. Good. I can just be relaxed. He probably had a smooth fucking
He had to have a gnarly voice. I mean, didn't he smoke 5 packs of cigarettes a day? He was like a filterless smoker.
Well, everyone
too.
did. Fucking
Yeah.
James Dean smoked. Well, that ultimately didn't fucking kill him. But,
Right.
Yeah, he smoked
Yeah, he got lucky. Died of
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Bogart died of throat cancer, and he was smoking unfiltered, and then that was him trying to curb his cancer by switching to filters.
Oh man!
But talk about a fucking death. I think he weighed 80 pounds when he died.
Oh,
That's
dude.
just bones at that point. Bones, and he didn't even have fucking hair.
Even Judy Garland, you don't expect it, but she's on her cigarettes and gin diet.
Yeah.
Chicken soup, gin, and cigarettes.
Did you see the trailer for this new Judy Garland movie?
No.
Dude, Renee Zellweger.
Oh, I don't know.
First off, Renee Zellweger can sing. She did Chicago, and Renee can certainly fucking act. But who the fuck wants to see her as Judy Garland?
Yeah, how good could a Judy Garland movie be?
I mean, it's going to be a depressing ass movie. She was, on painkillers. Judy Garland was just the Broadway version of Marilyn Monroe, as far as I'm concerned. Sex symbol, pushed into movies at a young age, and then became basically addicted to drugs and alcohol, and just slowly watched her own career eclipse in front of her.
Does this make a good movie, though?
But I mean, it makes an interesting biopic, but you have to cast the right person. I think Renee, on paper, it might sound good, but when you look at it, you're like, wow, Renee Zellweger doesn't look like Judy Garland. Not to mention she's older playing Judy Garland before like Judy Garland died.
I mean, even in the like we had the biopic years with like
We still do.
Walk the Line and Ray and all of the and
Yeah.
I don't think Ray Charles made for a great movie. I don't think Johnny Cash makes for a great movie.
Well, they had
when
to
they
embellish a little
eventually make like a Willie Nelson movie, that's not going to be a great movie.
That's already fucking half baked. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, basically.
It's just me called baked.
I just think that there's some people where like sure they had an interesting life, but like Carrie Fisher, for example.
Yeah.
I don't think that would make a great movie.
Oh, I disagree.
I think
if
it
you
made
go
great
deep-
books.
if you go deep in the psychosis of how fucking crazy she was and how she still was super humorous about it and how she kind of also saw her own career eclipse a little bit.
Right.
And not to mention her husband turned out to be gay and her how you end it with how she dies and the following fucking day her mother dies.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think you can fit that complex of a life into a good movie.
A miniseries? Maybe?
Maybe.
I still am holding out for a good Sinatra biopic.
Yeah. How come that hasn't happened?
Well, it's happening.
Put Woody Allen's son in it.
Ronan?
Yeah.
Well, that's allegedly Sinatra's son.
I heard the rumor.
Yeah, if you see a photo there of the three of them, you're like, wow, Ronan Farrow is definitely not a Cronenberg.
I also believe the Khloe Kardashian O.J. Simpson thing.
Oh, yeah.
I totally believe that.
But Sinatra fucking, like, they've tried, dude. They've done as so much as straight up biopics, but, like, they've done movies where, like they did a Rat Pack HBO movie.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to give you the cast, okay? So you know the five leads of the Rat Pack, right?
Yeah.
So you got Joey Bishop.
Yeah.
I don't remember who the fuck played him. I think it was
Dave Coulier.
No, yeah. For the sake of this argument, it's Dave Coulier. Peter Lawford, good-looking British, charming guy. They got Angus MacFane, the guy who played Robert the Bruce in Braveheart.
Right.
So, okay, yeah, whatever.
Most confusing name in all of history, Robert the Bruce.
Right. Not to mention there's a real guy named Robert Bruce.
Right.
Who, is in the Kevin Smith universe. Okay, Sammy Davis Jr., Don Cheadle. That worked amazingly well.
Yeah, I mean, Don's a great actor, so he can,
Oh, he learned how to play. He learned how to tap dance, sing like Sammy, twirl guns because Sammy was a quick draw in like 3 weeks, and play the trumpet in like 3 weeks of preparation.
Sammy also sucked dick and went to the Church of Satan.
I don't know if that's true.
That is true.
He sucked dick.
Oh yeah, he said in an interview once, like he was like, I tried everything once.
Oh, yeah, man, I tried everything. Cool, Daddy. Oh,
Yeah.
You just think, oh, me and Frank, we knew each other from way back. Oh. He got me my start, and I helped him out.
He's like a drunk Kermit. Like
that's
really
how I learned how to do it because
I do a Kermit the Frog, and, they just kind of, hey, cool, man.
you just swing it.
You just have to kind of bobble your head, and the Candyman makes, and then...
But then if you lower the pitch and then add a New York accent, you get Rio Romano.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no! Deborah, what are you doing? I blew Frank's... Oh, no, that was Sammy.
Okay, so Dean Martin was played by Joe Mantegna.
Huh.
We
got some varying ages going on here.
Yeah, this is made in 98.
Okay.
So,
okay.
The big hitter, Sinatra. Now, on paper, I would agree this would work. But when you watch it like this, it's so fucking weird. Ray Liotta. Henry Hill.
Yeah. Oh.
And I think my problem was that he played it like Henry Hill. He played it just straight up
Right.
Goodfellas. Like, look, on paper, Ray Liotta, right build, has an Italian last name, even though he was adopted, just adopted by an Italian
Right.
family. He's got blue eyes, as far as I know.
Yeah.
He's got that swagger. He's got that kind of, old school mafiosi thing that Sinatra really tried to, bring to his service. He was always hanging around the rough crowd.
Dude, he's ruined his face so bad now. I don't know what he's going to be in.
His face was fucking ruined way back in, Field of Dreams.
I know, but he's been doing the facelift, so his nose is getting wider.
Oh, really?
He's Mickey Rourking himself. He's looking rough now. Like, he looks so bad, I think the only thing he could be in is a, an Expendables movie,
Jigsaw?
Dude, yeah, he would be perfect as Jigsaw now.
I want to play a game, Karen!
It's such a bummer when people do that. But I got to show it to you, because he's going full-on cat person almost. And if you see it... Here, this is going to depress you.
How is that not Carol Channing?
Dude.
Wow. Here's the irony is that, like, we kind of, like, were into his leathery skin. Yeah, like that. I mean, back then, he even said, like, oh, I looked youthful because I had all this acne, and it kind of, like, tightens up and leathers the skin a little bit, but I still look good.
But you can, as they do the facelift, you can see it, like, they pull it back here, and it just, his nose is, like, so much wider.
To be fair, he's older. I mean,
But dude, just be older. How come he
could have been older in Hollywood? You know this shit.
Redford pulls it off, Newman pulls it off.
Redford has directing creds.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be in front of a camera anymore.
Man, I mean, he's just such
Look at Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood looked exactly the same, over 100, for 70 years.
Yeah.
When he was young, he still looked old. I mean, that's just how it is, dude. He will always look like the fucking guy who said, "Get off my lawn."
Yeah, it's like Steve Martin. He went gray at 29.
Yeah.
So he just looked the same age for 3 decades.
And then you get your flip ones. Like, look at Keanu Reeves. That motherfucker is still a vampire. I swear that dude just actually got bitten by Gary Oldman on the set of Dracula.
Man, it's got to just be like clean living, though.
Keanu? Or
yeah.
It's all that martial arts he learned.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the secret.
If you've perpetually got to stay in shape for work, like you're going to be in this next martial arts movie or whatever,
yeah.
So you've constantly got to be like eating well and like taking good care of yourself. Sure. So I think that's why dudes like Keanu look the way they do, because he's probably taking pretty decent care of himself.
Sure, I would agree with that. I would also say that he picks his roles very carefully.
Mm.
He doesn't just. I mean. The John Wick movies I liked. I thought I was never a fan of Keanu Reeves, and I never thought he was a good actor.
Yeah, I mean, early on, like stuff like Parenthood, and then Bill and Ted's, he was kind of the dude.
Well, you're buddies with the guy who's doing Bill and Ted 3, is that right?
I'm buddies with Ed Solomon, the guy who wrote it.
Oh, okay.
He wrote that, and he wrote Men in Black and stuff. He was one of the people who like early on got into my paintings. And found me on Twitter and wanted a painting, so I sold him one, and then I got another one I got to mail to him.
So you think you could swing Keanu Reeves on PodAskew?
I don't think I could pull it off. I don't even try and bother Ed a whole lot. Like I stay out of his DMs and stuff. Like I asked him a couple of questions about the original Bill and Ted's.
Yeah.
My mom lived in San Dimas, and I was like, did anything get shot there? And apparently it was all shot in Arizona.
And you're like, what was Carlin like? That kind of shit.
No, I try real hard to just like not bug people too much.
Which is funny because you bug everybody on Twitter.
I know. Just my presence there.
Dude, I still think one of the funniest videos I've ever seen was you cutting your hair. Dude, I share that shit to everybody.
I knew that was going to go bad from the minute I tried it, but
so you're saying it was an accidental video? You actually tried to just cut your hair?
Yeah. I just thought, like, this looks easy, because at the time I was
oh my god, dude!
trying
you played
things
it off like it was like it comes out like such a natural bit. So it was just a happy accident.
I just filmed it and just thought I'm going to try and cut my hair. And then at the time I was just trying things that I thought were easy.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I thought putting on makeup looked easy. Like, I've known a lot of people that can put on makeup, and I thought, I'm a smart guy, I can figure this out. And I tried the makeup. That didn't work out. It's not as easy. And then I made a bold claim at work. I was, outside smoking with my buddy Jamie. And I was like, I'll bet tap dancing is pretty easy.
Oh,
you just put on the fucking shoes and you just go for it.
And just flick your fucking ankles.
I just thought, I can,
I could fucking pull a Sammy without the dick sucking.
So it was going on for like a week. We were watching like video footage, and she'd show me like Bob Hope tap dancing. I'm like, this old guy can do it. Like, Bob Hope can't kick flip. I can kick flip. That's like more complicated footwork. I can fucking tap dance. So she was like, all right, put your money where your mouth is, and got me shoes.
Yeah.
And, I can't fucking tap dance. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I took tap. I know what the fuck. It's awful.
But, yeah, it was basically at the time, like, I was trying things that I thought looked easy. And I thought, well, cutting your hair looks easy, makeup, tap dancing. Every single thing that I tried, I failed at miserably.
Cutting your hair is easy if you shave it all off.
That's what I ended up having to do.
Yeah, take it from me. I cut my own fucking hair, but I cut everything off.
Right.
I mean, and that's my secret, is I'm actually losing my fucking hair, but no one knows that shit because I go completely bald. They have no fucking clue.
I still think I could cut somebody else's hair. I think I could just... But I don't think anybody will let me try.
Dude, my dad had me cut his hair recently.
Really?
Yeah. And
it's like, go for it.
My dad has got this fucking giant. I mean, it's not an afro because he's Italian, so I call it a doo-wop.
Yeah.
But like it's long and curly, and I mean, my dad's 80. My dad's 80 fucking years old, and like he always had like black hair. Now it's kind of gray, and now my dad had an accident recently where he broke his fucking leg falling with a ladder.
Oh god.
Like he didn't fall off the ladder. The ladder said no, and he slid with it and broke his femur in multiple spots and had to have his whole knee replaced. So because of that, he's like aging even more rapidly, and he's had a rough month. His best friend died. His dog died. So my dad has never wanted to go to the barber. My dad just his hair has always been as long as it has been since I've known him. Occasionally he'll get a fucking trim from someone, but then it never goes like super long. It's always just this long thing about like neck level. So he said, "Yeah, Rico, will you cut my hair?" I said, you take one look at me. Do you think I'm successful at this shit?
Right.
Like, I'll try, and I fucked it up, but it works because he's never going to leave the house,
Right.
so it's fine. But I kept saying, like, Dad, I'll do what I can, but I apologize in advance. And then he looked in the mirror, he's like, "Oh, it looks pretty good." I'm like, "You don't see the back, motherfucker. You look like shit." And I said, "I'm like, well, just shave your fucking head." He's like, I don't know if that'd be a good look for me." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up. You grow back, bitch." Like,
Right.
So yeah, I will never cut anybody's hair unless they're like, "Hey, I can't reach this one side. Can you get this one thing?"
Right.
That's different. But I've had people be like, "Hey, can you shave my neck?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh fuck.
You know, it's a weird thing. Like, I guess it's just in the world of grooming. But I knew like people that dated each other more so in high school that would pop each other's zits. Do you do that?
I mean, we do it for the hard to reach places.
Man.
Like, look, I'm a fucking heavy dude. Like, I got folds,
Right.
and they're all heavy. So, like, if I get, like, something that I can't see because my gut's in the way, or if there's something that's small on my back, yeah.
I've had those, like those weird, like, you get, like, a big back zit that's, like, one of those, like, cystic ones that hurts, but it's like, if I can't reach it, it's just, that one's just gonna stay.
Or you just, like, find a wall, just trying to...
Yeah,
try and
get it
rub
on the
against-
door jamb.
No, I mean, to get really fucking... Look, this episode's gonna be fucking all over the place. CJ, if you're listening to this is why, like, OC and I meet for the first fucking time. I've had, like, zits where I didn't know I had a zit on my back, and then, like, rubbed against the wall to get past something, and all of a sudden, ow, motherfuck, what did I just do to myself?
Right.
So, yeah, Steph has popped pimples on me, and, and
I've never had anybody do that for me.
you haven't met the right woman, I guess.
I guess. I also think, I don't think I could ever do, like, a pedicure. I wouldn't want, like, somebody touching my feet. I've never gotten a massage in my life. I don't think I would like somebody massaging me.
Yeah, I mean, you hugged me when we first met. Or you
I'm like an affectionate person, and like, like in a relationship, I'm like,
how fucking
fine with
ugly are your
touching.
toes? You're giving shit to Jennifer
They're
Garner.
they're
but,
fine.
so like, what's you just
I don't know. I'm
you just
weird
can't
about.
give someone $20 to fucking clean up your toes?
I'm weird about strangers touching me. I guess it feels like it would be uncomfortable.
So because we talked for a year on Twitter, I'm no longer a stranger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like a hug is different. Like I would probably hug a stranger if it was like that guy over there needs a hug. Like come here, dude. But like just somebody like rubbing my shoulders or like like
well, what about
filing shit off my feet. It feels like
but you'll eat food given to you by a total stranger.
Yeah. I don't think like those ladies that work at the pedicure place. Like I don't think I would want to eat something that they prepared. It'd be like you're.
But that's
you got
not
foot hands. Those are tainted.
But you have no clue what the waiter was touching before he gave you your food.
That's true.
I
don't want to know.
You have no clue what the bartender was touching when he gave you a drink.
Yeah.
Whether it was canned wine or not.
You know what I would do? I would do the thing where you put your feet in the bucket with the little fish that eat the dead skin.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with a fish touching me.
Were you a fan of The Shape of Water or something?
No, I never saw it actually.
Oh, okay. I call it grinding Neil.
I know kind of the basic premise, isn't it? Like it's like Splash but X-rated.
I mean, I'm a fan of the guy who plays the fish, Doug Jones. I mean, that dude's like, he's the best working mime I can think of at the top of my head.
It's a merman?
You saw Hellboy?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember like Abe Sapien?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
It's just that. It's the same guy.
Really?
Yeah, it's Doug Jones.
Is it like a gay merman love affair movie?
I know it's a man with a deaf woman, I think.
Oh, I thought it was like Paul Giamatti.
When a fish fucks a what? No, that's fucking Lady in Water.
Oh, okay.
Or Lady in the Lake or
I'm
something.
confusing two movies.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, this movie sounds pretty amazing.
No, Shape of Water is
It's a
like
gay romance. Paul Giamatti's a writer, and
Yeah.
there's a merman in the pool.
that's an M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong film.
Yeah, I like him. I like his movies.
I mean, made some good movies. Have you gone back on like seen Signs?
I love Signs.
I did not fucking get Signs.
I rewatched The Happening recently, and I was like,
What?
It's not
No.
that bad. It's all right.
With fucking Mackie Mac.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude, he's so good in I Heart Huckabees. I swear.
I
Like,
still never seen it because I don't know how I feel about David O. Russell.
I love him. I love that movie. It's my favorite movie of all time.
I Heart Huckabees is your favorite movie of all time.
It is.
Okay.
It hit me at the right time, man. I had just dropped out of college. I was a philosophy major, and I actually
Okay.
I had to like work some stuff out with like the admissions people at the college, so I could take a full roster of just philosophy classes. So I had philosophy 101, logic, and then God, there was like another one. I started going to college
Canned
and
wine.
just immediately became like a bottle a day alcoholic.
Oh my god.
And just college didn't work out for me, so I dropped out and like I moved out into the desert, and that movie came out, and it was like right after I dropped out, and I went and I saw it by myself because I didn't know anybody out there. I just moved to this new area, and it's so much about these people that are struggling with philosophical concepts. Like more so than their own like real life struggles, you
Right.
know? Like you're failing at real life, dude. Like you don't need to go tackle the questions of the universe.
Right.
And that's so much of where I was at the time. It just hit me perfectly.
Hey man, if you can relate to a movie, I'm grateful as long as it's not like fucking Halloween or something. Like
Yeah. No, I don't
I
know.
understand. Or like the Joker. Did you see the Joker?
I haven't yet.
You want my 2 cents on it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen Taxi Driver. Have you seen King of Comedy?
No.
If you want some good Scorsese, King of Comedy is fucking amazing.
Is that the De Niro?
Yeah, well, that's hard to determine which De Niro Scorsese.
Right. Yeah.
But he is it really mirrors Joker in a fucked up way. Almost to the point where, like, of course De Niro is going to be a Joker because it's based on 2 of his fucking movies. De Niro plays a stand-up comic who desperately wants to do a monologue, the opening monologue for a talk show host. Talk show host is played by Jerry Lewis. And he kidnaps Jerry Lewis and basically holds him ransom so that he can do the opening monologue for his show.
Right.
So Joker is the descent into madness of how society just sucks, Taxi Driver, and then ends with him going on stage essentially doing a killing joke. Spoilers for those who haven't seen it. It's a depressing fucking movie. And like I've seen depressing movies, but like you know going into this, like, okay, he's going to put on the makeup, he's going to become a criminal, he's gonna be the Joker. But I don't want to be sympathetic to the Joker. The Joker is a murderer and he's a criminal, and every villain has got some tragedy in their life and to a certain degree. But it doesn't mean we have to find an excuse to condone it, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And I think the movie would have been fan-fucking-tastic if it just wasn't called Joker. Take it out of Gotham. Don't have Thomas Wayne. Don't have any of that shit. Just have a guy go. Just combine fucking Taxi Driver and King Kong, the king of taxi drivers. Like,
Right.
you know, don't fucking. But there is also the political standpoint where I was legit terrified going to the movie theater. Like, I've never been scared of going to see a movie in public out of fear that I may get shot.
Yeah, I mean, there was like, what was it? The
Colorado.
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
And the guy who did the shooting called himself the fucking Joker.
Yeah.
And he dyed his hair orange, and he fucking, did what he did, and he, was obsessed with Batman and all that shit. We are living in a fucking time. Fuck the Me Too movement. We're in a fucking time where it's like men are so pissed off that they get rejected by women, they start shooting people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the conservative side, the MAGA side, kind of condones this shit. And we already have too many fucking shootings in schools. We don't need another fucking movie. Not to say that movies start violence, because people have been violent before movies were even a thing. But I don't need people to be sympathetic and identify with it. I don't want fucking some other dude to be like, oh, dude, I totally understand the Joker.
Yeah, I think there's a good way to do it, though. You could identify it in a way where it's like, oh, this is what we need to watch out for, rather than glorifying it. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so...
Look, I think it came out the wrong time.
Do you think you could kill a man?
Do you think if I could kill a man?
Yeah, do you think you could?
It depends on the context.
Yeah, I know. So, like, let's run through it.
Okay.
What
a fucking question.
You know this person is guilty of a heinous crime, and you'll get away with it. Like, government license to kill. Kill this guy.
What's the crime?
He's a child murderer. He's a serial killer. He's murdered numerous kids.
Yes.
You think you could do it?
I think I probably could do it.
Do you think you could do it, like, up close and personal? Like,
I think I'd probably close my eyes and shoot him.
I don't know if I could do it.
I think I would probably, in this situation, this is not a confession in any way.
I think heat of the moment, like defending like my own life or
Yes,
something. Like I think I could do the self-defense kill, but I don't know if I could walk into a room and like the one that gets me is Baby Hitler. Like, oh, I go back in time and kill Baby Hitler. Like, that's pretty dark.
Nice throwback to Don Cheadle again. Because that's like a whole thing of like killing Thanos, like baby Thanos.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Let me put it this way: I would be more likely to kill someone if one of my friends or family members is in the middle of being raped or abused or something.
Right.
If it was, they're going to shoot my friend unless I take care of it first.
Yeah.
Would I ever go up to a total stranger and just pop in the head? No.
Yeah, like even like $1 million, kill a random person, walk into a room. I don't think I could do that. I couldn't live with myself.
I don't know if I could even do that. You press a button and it kills someone out in the world.
Right, the box.
The box.
Yeah.
You have no fucking clue who they are. You get $1 million. I think I would have a hard time debating on that one. I think I'd have to get like counsel. I'd have to be like, I'd have to look at my bills first and be like, because there's always the chance it could be someone I know.
Right.
The last thing I want to do is be responsible for, I killed my brother.
I love that in that movie, had they not pressed it, it stopped with them.
Yeah.
Nobody would have collected it. Doesn't move on to anybody else. Yeah. You just put it on a shelf. Yeah, we don't touch that button.
There was no repercussions on that.
Right.
That's a fucking weird question.
Going back to Baby Hitler for a second, I have a great idea for a comic book maybe, but this is dark. So you've got Baby Hitler.
Yeah. How young? Just baby?
Like Baby Hitler. So
does he have the stash?
This is the story. You've got, yes, of course he has the stash. Okay. You've got Hasidic Jews now. They've secretly been working on time travel for hundreds of years so that they could go back in time and prevent the Holocaust by killing Baby Hitler.
Okay.
So, kind of modern day, maybe, near future.
Time after time type of shit.
Right. So they've secretly invented this machine, and then they're just sending waves and waves of assassins back in time to kill Hitler. So Hitler lives his life as this young kid, constantly being attacked by Hasidic Jewish assassins, and that's how he learns to not like the Jews. He's like, man, these people are always trying to kill me. We got to just get rid of all of them.
So, just because you look like Rian Johnson, you have to steal his fucking idea for Looper as well.
It's like, but you got the Hitler element in there too. It's like Terminator 2, but John Connor is Hitler.
Oh my god. No, dude.
No?
Just no.
I would love the idea that, Jews from another time would realize this, and then you would have, it would be like Ballistic X versus Sever. It would be Hasidic Jew assassin protecting Hitler from the other because he realizes that,
I would like to see this as, an exploitation fucking movie.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, you do it like Grindhouse style.
Yeah. You take the concept of Jews in space and then, cross it with Inglourious Basterds.
You could do a comedy style, so you've got these Hasidic Jewish assassins with the only way it could happen, I couldn't make this movie because I'm a Catholic. They'd be like, no way.
Were you?
But if I could get Mel Brooks to make this movie,
I would love for Mel Brooks just to make any movie at this point.
I know,
dude. That dude's never gonna make another movie.
I don't think so.
He still is. He's a young 100, but
still,
he lost all the drive.
Remember he's talking about Spaceballs 2?
I would love Spaceballs 2. I
don't even like Spaceballs 1.
What?
No.
How could you hate Spaceballs 1?
I don't hate it, but there are movies I like and movies I used to like. That's a movie I used to like.
What stopped?
I don't know. It's just not fun to me anymore. That humor's like, it's like,
Is that the same for all Mel Brooks films?
no. Some like The Producer still makes me laugh. History of
Okay.
the World. Blazing Saddles is meh. It's like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff. And weirdly, like, I think the fart scene is kind of stupid.
I could agree with that. I think there's childish humor. There's the first viewing, which is hysterical, and then you're like, all right, let's fast forward.
I think Blazing Saddles is important because of, like, at the time and, like, the pro-black message of that movie.
Yeah. Young Frankenstein still is hysterical.
So good. Yeah.
So good.
The minute that song starts and Peter Boyle's singing happens,
Yeah.
like, I just busted
Putting on
out
the wrist,
laughing.
yeah.
So there,
I still like Dracula Dead and loving it, and Robin
That's-
and Robin
yeah.
and Men in Tights.
Men in Tights is all right.
I mean, those are the movies that I saw more than in any of the other movies.
So on the way up here, we drove past this place called the Miller Retarding Basin.
The Miller Hudawada?
It's the retarding basin. I guess it retards or slows down the flow
Okay.
of water.
Okay.
But just seeing the sign, I just kept thinking about it, and I thought, like, they have, like, a picnic area there and stuff, and I just thought, because of the name, like...
Oh, God.
So it's just like, this guy just like, why'd you make me come here, honey?
Holy
This is
shit.
the worst picnic ever!
Or if you drink enough Miller, you become retarded. That was all I was saying. That had nothing to do with me, man.
Worst joke ever.
Oh, my God. Now
No.
it is.
the retarding basin. I don't understand how that became like such a derogative word. Doesn't it describe a thing? So when you're saying like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
but there's always a negative connotation to it. It's always like, oh, you're retarded.
right.
But it's you could use another word. It's like
Yeah.
it is. I'm not saying it's as bad, but it's like a white supremacist point of view, being like, well, I'm just going to call this black guy the N-word because that's just another way of calling it.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like if somebody says don't say that, it's offensive. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. That's never my intent.
Of course not. You
But
just
some
have-
of them
you
get
just happen
weird
to do it.
because it's like disabled,
Right.
handicapped, crippled. Doesn't it all kind of mean the same thing?
Well, crippled.
I'm not a midget. I'm a little person. Like little person seems more diminutive than saying like, oh yeah, I'm a midget or I have dwarfism.
But that's not our place to. It's their right to choose.
I guess. But why does it change?
Because they don't know what the fuck they want.
You know midgets.
Yeah, they've had up to here with that shit. But there is that. Look, my dad taught special ed, so I had a whole kind of unique way of looking at this. Where I did when I was young and stupid, as opposed to just now where I'm just stupid. I used the word retarded because I didn't fully understand it could hurt somebody.
Right.
And my dad, of all people, who is very liberal and lets me say where the fuck I want to say. And my dad came from, my dad's the child of an Italian immigrant, and he grew up in Massachusetts. So like he's got that East Coast kind of mentality. But then he moved out to like he actually went to school out here in San Jose. So, but like my dad had a friend who was Lithuanian, and he called him a Polak. Like just that kind of old like 40s,
Right.
50s way of like, oh yeah, you're a crown. No, I'm a giddy and shit like that. But like my dad flipped out on me where I saw someone who had Down syndrome, and I said, "Oh, look at that retard." And my dad's like, "You do not ever say that fucking word in front of me,
Yeah.
or at all." And it took me someone likes you. It took me I volunteered to help the special ed class in elementary school. Like I brought like puppets and shit. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have any friends, so I said, well, I'm not going to sit alone at lunch. I'll just hang out with these kids. And so I had a whole new appreciation. I mean, the word itself doesn't offend me, but I've stood by and seen that word thrown at them. But the crazy thing is that for my perception, mentally handicapped people, they don't care. It doesn't bother them because they're happier than us.
Right.
There is that extra fucking chromosome where it shouldn't be called Down syndrome. It should be called fucking Up syndrome because they're always happy. They have a big fucking smile on their face half the time. And I'm not saying that they don't have hardships and they're not sad, but like their whole fucking thing is, I'm just grateful to be alive. Are you kidding me?
There was My ex-wife, like, she had this apartment when I first met her, and there was a kid that he was, like, on a work program and stuff, so he was this guy with Down syndrome. He was maybe, like, mid-20s or whatever, and he was in the apartment above her. He worked at the local McDonald's. Everybody knew this kid. He was, like, a good kid, and he was learning to live on his own. So, like, once a week, people would come check on him and stuff.
Sure.
And this gets kind of dark, but...
Oh, yeah, because we didn't talk about baby fucking Hitler 10 minutes ago.
So, like, one night we're in her apartment, we can hear him crying upstairs, and it's like, oh, fuck, I hope he's okay. And the next day, like, his like, person came to go check on him, and it wasn't working out. Like, his living alone, it was like, here's how you buy groceries and stuff like that.
Right.
For some reason, he went and he blew all of his food money on Dr. Pepper and paper towels. Every time he got his, like, grocery money, he'd go to the grocery store and he'd just buy 2-liter bottles of Dr. Pepper and paper towels. He thought he needed paper towels. So they went to go check on him, and, like, for a week, that's all he had. He had no food. He just had Dr. Pepper, and he was just crying at night because he was, like, confused and hungry and just had...
That's fucked up.
It's pretty dark.
Do you know if there's an epilogue to that story?
He moved out and he moved back in with his parents and
Okay.
probably continued the project. But I watched this documentary about this kid who was he had Down syndrome and he was in his 40s. And his parents were like 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And it was really like sad because they're like, we have to make plans for
our death.
Who's going to take care of him after
Yeah.
we die? And you know, like the dad was kind of a frail man. He was talking about how he's got to shave his son and stuff, and he was like, he's big enough that he can, you know, if he screws around or swings his arms or something, I mean, he could really injure me.
Yeah.
It's really intense. Like, it's got to be such a heavy feeling as a parent because you want to make sure your kids are able to handle themselves when you die.
Of course.
And there's such an uncertainty if your child has any kind of setback like that or just any other physical disability, you know, like confined to a wheelchair or something.
And unfortunately, there is this massive distrust in the government and hospitals and everything.
Right.
It's like, you know, they say they'll care for my child, whether it's someone with, you know, a mental deficiency or not.
Right. Just
someone to look after my kid. My dad worries about me all. I'm 28.
Yeah.
And like my dad's like told me, he's like, yeah, you know, if I ever get somebody, I'm just gonna, you know, give you a trust. And I'm like, why? It's like, because if I give it to you, you spend it all. I'm like, give me some fucking credit. Like, you know, I've paid bills. I've had apartments.
Right.
Like, I live with my mother now, but it's just because the Bay Area is fucking expensive.
Yeah.
So, and I work at a video store. But there is that. I mean, I don't have children, so you are a father,
right?
So I don't have that mentality of, you know, if anything, it's not like, oh fuck, I don't want anything to happen to me because it's my life. It's I don't want anything to happen to me because I have no idea what the fuck's going to happen to my kid.
Right.
So I applaud any parent that still has that mentality. I've seen parents that clearly don't think of their fucking kids. You know,
yeah.
Every time I've walked by a fucking locked car and a kid's inside because the parent just, you know, want to go shopping and, you know, but I also understand the parents as well, which is like, I need a fucking break. You know, I got nieces and nephews and I get it. Like every once in a while you're just like, fuck, color a book. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, Stop following me in the bathroom for Christ's sake. But you also have a responsibility. If you have to go shopping, you take your fucking kid in with you. You can't just leave. It's the same thing whenever I see someone at a movie theater bring their kid to a fucking loud-ass violent movie because they want to go see the movie. You shell out the extra fucking money and you pay for a sitter. Don't bring your fucking kid to see the Joker. We saw people bring their kids to the Joker.
Dude.
And I heard people, like little kids, like 3-year-olds. And I'm sure someone's like, oh my God, Batman. No, motherfucker, it's not Batman. This is all about the Joker. It's like, here, you want to see a movie about Two-Face? It has nothing to do with Batman. Just here, we're going to show this half fucking acid face for an hour and a half. I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about anymore. I didn't know what we were talking about to begin with.
I think my first movie was E.T., and that's kind of a kid's movie, but it horrified me.
I agree. It's a kid's movie that is fucking scary.
Yeah, I think I was like maybe 3, and they were like, he's old enough to go to the movies.
Well, they didn't give a fuck back then. There were people going to see Jaws.
Yeah.
I mean, but like I was too young to see E.T. in theaters, but like I remember watching on VHS.
Even at my age, like when I look at it, that's not when that movie came out, so it had to be like we're showing it again, you know?
Yeah, you must have. They probably did a re-release or something.
Maybe.
But like when the beginning part, E.T. is fucking scary.
Yeah.
And then like sounds and fucking shitty that he does. It's a creep. That's why. Like,
is it good or bad for kids though that we've dumbed down their entertainment?
Um.
Because I grew up on like Mr. Rogers, who's just like a dude, you know, and like there's puppets and stuff. But
yeah, but I always found Mr. Rogers a little creepier than E.T.
And I don't remember like the world being so kid friendly when I was growing up. It was like
It wasn't.
It was
Everyone
like,
was on
like,
cocaine.
Yeah, we're watching Law and Order or whatever. Like
I watched a ton of Law and Order when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I kind of got that. My dad put on. I had to watch whatever my dad was watching. So I watched a whole. I still have those things where I'm like, I remember a scene. I have no fucking clue what movie it is, and I know it's way too adult for me, and I know it's going to happen. Like I remember watching the movie Wild Things at 5, and having no fucking clue what was going on, and then re-finding it on TV, be like, holy fuck, this is that movie, dude!
yeah.
Holy shit, this is fucking. I think I hit puberty when I saw Wild Things at 5, but then I was able to relive my puberty. But I mean, my mom was very different than my dad. My mom would be like, "You can't watch this because it's Y7." Remember that, like rating?
Yeah.
It's like she wouldn't let me watch most of anything on Cartoon Network, but I could watch anything I want on Nickelodeon. It was so bizarre.
See,
like,
so, I mean, you grew up in the generation where there was like a channel just for you.
Yeah.
You know.
Whereas you were like, okay, we're gonna watch.
Yeah, like I guess I'm watching the Beverly Hillbillies because
Yeah,
it's
there
like
was a
the
whole lot
best
of
thing
selection.
that's on, you know?
I guess.
I remember watching movies that just had like that certain look about them. Like if they had a shitty quality to the filming, it'd be like, there's definitely going to be some boobs in this movie, you know?
All scrambled and everything.
My go-to like jerk-off material was a VHS of The Wall that my dad had because there's a scene where a chick shows her boobs.
Oh, you must have round that shit and paused it.
Yep, it's like a warped section on that tape after a while because it's like yeah.
I'm trying to think, what was mine?
I just don't know if it's better or worse for children to grow up where there's things that are just for them. Like,
I mean, I think there are options, and I also think I have nephews, and I lost my heart broke as an uncle when I tried putting on The Lion King. Because that was like the movie for like,
right.
you know, when you're a little kid growing up in '94, that's the fucking movie. And my nephew said, I don't like The Lion King. I'm like, how the fuck do you not like The Lion King, dude? I was like, well, what do you like? He's like, I like Despicable Me, and I like old school Mickey Mouse. I'm like, let me see this old school Mickey Mouse, because I don't think you know what you're talking about.
right, like Steamboat Willie.
No, dude, he showed me his version of Mickey Mouse. His version of Mickey Mouse looks like the animators of Ren and Stimpy did it.
What is that? Like,
it's this new version of Mickey and Goofy and Donald, and they look like they're drawn by crackheads. And I'm like, this is not. All of a sudden, I felt way fucking older. Like, this is not the Mickey I grew up with.
Right.
What the fuck is this?
I mean, but I grew up on like Warner Brothers cartoons
Yeah.
and stuff. That stuff was like,
It was
it's
violent as
timeless.
fuck, but it was still clean.
and it's kind of timeless.
Yeah, I was always a Tom and Jerry fan.
I don't know. Like, I think maybe it's detrimental to have your entire world be stuff that's directed directly at you.
I would agree. I think kids. I mean, I branched out with all sorts of shit.
Right.
I was terrified of the concept of horror films, but I still was intrigued by them.
Right. Yeah. It's
Like,
not like.
I would go to the video stores and just look at the cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all I needed. I just needed a rush of looking at the back of the cover and trying to imagine what the fuck is Children of the Corn really about.
right.
And then eventually, gradually, like kind of late night on AMC, be like, oh, there's Halloween 4. I wonder what this is going to be. And then you're like, fuck this noise.
I remember being horrified by like horror movies and ghosts and stuff like that. Like, I watched Pet Sematary and it totally changed the way I slept.
Yeah.
Just that scene where, like, you know, the brain guy, he walks by the bedroom door and goes like,
Oh.
hey, Doc, you know?
Pascal.
I started sleeping with my head, like, jammed in between the like, wall in my bed just so I wouldn't see a ghost. But now it's like, what terrifies me has changed. Now injuries terrify me. Like, and I grew up on Rotten.com looking at the
Yeah.
worst stuff.
Yeah.
I can't look at any of that stuff
E
anymore.
fucked.
Like, yeah, I can't. Like, injuries. Any injury just becomes a phobia for me. And, like, I'm so aware of stuff that I don't want to see. Like I tried to watch The Devil's Rejects recently,
Yeah.
and there's that like almost rape scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Just turned it off.
I agree.
Anything with violence towards children, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm out. Like Walking Dead, when that baby was in peril, I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to watch this at all anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Once you experience life,
Right.
and like in your case have a child, or in my case have nephews. I mean, we watched Black Klansman, and I had to pause it halfway. Did you see it?
No.
So you know the premise of it.
Yeah. And I hear Topher's amazing.
Topher is great, but you hate the motherfucker.
Right.
And the guy who plays the black guy is Denzel Washington's kid.
Oh, cool.
Looks nothing like him, sounds just like him. And you know, Adam Driver, you got your fucking Kylo Ren, random little role in there. He's good in it as well. I was never a big Spike Lee fan, but goddamn, we were talking earlier about Quentin Tarantino using the word. I could watch an entire Quentin Tarantino movie with the N-word throughout it and kind of be fine with it. This fucking movie affected me so goddamn harsh that there's a scene where because it shows the white supremacists and the Ku Klux Klan's point of views. And there's a scene where one of them is like cuddling and spooning his, wife. And if you just looked at them, you're like, all right, these are blue, collar, working class, fucking rednecks. They're doing what they're doing. They blah, blah, blah. And then she looks matronly. She's got, she's heavy set. She's got an apron. She's like, would you like some biscuits? Like that whole fucking thing. And they're cuddling. And they're talking about exterminating black people and Jews as they're cuddling.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't, I paused and I said, I need a fucking, I need, dessert. I need ice cream to fucking cleanse this palate. And I warned every person, and I think what it hit me was, my half brothers are half Jewish.
Right.
Same father, different mother. So, my nephews are Jewish, and I think it just kind of hit me in a whole real life kind of way.
Like, there's people out there that
yeah,
just like,
especially now. Like, that was the whole point of the movie, was like, yeah, this was happening in the fucking 70s. This is happening now. That's the whole point.
Right.
So I all of a sudden became very socially aware of, I mean, my nephews are going to be fine. They grew up in Piedmont.
Right.
Like, they're going to be fine. But they're also going to be very sheltered. There's going to come a time where they're going to read about the Holocaust and fucking have this identity crisis of, I was Jewish. Why the fuck is this happening to me?
Dude, I always wondered what that was like and growing up in elementary school, like my best friend was Jewish, and I just knew it's a different experience when you have to learn about the Holocaust and you come from a Jewish family and it's like,
from my understanding,
grandma went through this. You know?
Well, they don't hold back. The Jews fucking will tell their kids and their grandkids
right.
like from day one, like, this is what happened to us. Don't ever fucking forget it.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, there's the whole thing. There's the stereotype of Jewish guilt because it's fucking instilled on them from day one. I mean, I'll tell you a story. My grandmother, my father's mother, was not so much a racist, but fucking hated everybody. She hated Jews. She hated black people. She hated Italians, and she was Italian. And
I'm with her there. Italians are the worst.
Eat shit. Yeah, you know what's the worst is Catholics. But
I kind of agree.
Yeah. At least, I mean, you would think that I would be raised Catholic, but I'm not. I was raised atheist of all fucking things.
Oh, man.
My dad was a Catholic and then was raised Jehovah's Witness from 10 to 20.
Oh, that's so weird.
And then from 20 he became an
what
atheist.
What a bummer, dude. At 10 to just be like, no more birthdays.
No more Christmas. None of this shit. And you have to do all this crap for free. Knock, knock, knock. Would you like to buy a watchtower?
That's such a bummer
religion.
Dude,
my dad wants to come on the podcast and just fucking go on a whole rant.
Right.
I was like, all right, Dad, let's see what happens. An old-ass 80-year-old man be like, Jehovah's Witnesses are awful, and here's why. So my grandmother, this is before I was even born. My grandmother, my mother, my father, and one of my brothers are in the car. And the first thing that my grandma said, apparently, when she came into Oakland, she was from Massachusetts, was she said, God damn, there's a lot of blanks in Oakland. First thing she fucking said.
Right.
And my mother was like, Mary, you can't say that. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I think that's on the sign where it's like, welcome to Oakland.
Don't say it. Welcome to Oakland. You're not allowed to say the N-word. So they're in the car, and my grandmother, Mary, who I've never met, she died before I was born, was going on a fucking rant about Jews. And my brother, if I wasn't born, my brother must have been at least 9 or 10. and kind of probably learning about the Holocaust and being kind of aware of what being Jewish is. His grandparents were Jewish. His mother is Jewish. His stepfather is Jewish. His twin is Jewish. So he was sniffling in the back seat and was getting really uncomfortable. And he finally had my brother went to law school years later, so he has the balls to stand up to anybody.
All right.
So Alex said, Grandma, I'm Jewish. My mother's Jewish. My grandparents are Jewish. And my brother is Jewish. Are you saying that we're all awful too? And she apparently said, oh, no, you guys are good Jews, not those bad, awful Jews. And my brother started crying, but he's still, like, gritting his teeth and trying to, like,
Right.
the Italian is coming out and battling with the Jew a little bit. And my dad sees what's going on and kind of pulls off to the curb. And my brother Alex gets out of the car and says, it's a good thing that you're my grandmother, because anybody else who said this, I would beat the shit out of them. Slams the door. My dad gets out, and my mom is like, Mary, what the fuck? And my grandmother apparently said, according to my mother, I'd like to see him try.
Oh my god.
Like, no bullshit. So,
zero lessons learned.
So, like, I didn't have that Jewish upbringing, but I was very closely associated with the Jews. So I understood Jewish humor and the guilt, and I've always said that, like, Italians and Jews are very similar. The difference is, Italians have the food better.
Well, I don't know, man. I love Jewish food.
Okay, but, like, you've also had Italian food.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, well, you can get a nice bowl of spaghetti and bolognese or a nice bowl of...
Yeah, I think you win with, like, the pizza and stuff. That's so permeated. Man, I love a good Jewish deli.
Nothing against Jewish food. I will fucking always, every day, go for lox, bagel, and cream cheese and capers and shit. But I will also fucking go for, like, a nice, like, thing of lasagna or something.
Man, I've never had a spaghetti and been like, spaghetti.
Have you been to Italy?
No.
That's why. You've never been to my house either.
I mean, what's different about it though? It's just spaghetti. Like, it's the worst dish.
How is it? Oh, whoa, hey, how is it the worst dish?
It's just the worst. It's just pasta and sauce. It's like,
well, if you do it like from a can and like
no, but even if you
like,
cook it fresh, even if you make your own sauce, all that stuff, even if you go to a great restaurant and get it, it's still just spaghetti. And you could just, like, jazz it up with, like, lasagna. That's a great dish.
Is it just the noodle? I'm trying to fucking...
I don't know. I mean, ravioli. Like, there's more to it, you know? Like, there's just not enough going on with spaghetti.
You're eating some shitty fucking noodles.
There's nothing... Like. Yeah, there's nothing special about spaghetti. Just
sure there is. I mean, are you saying spaghetti or just pasta in general?
I mean...
Or specific... You're, like, racist against just spaghetti?
Specifically spaghetti. Yeah.
So, like, fettuccine's fine.
Fettuccine's great. Yeah,
fettuccine's just a fat fucking spaghetti.
Yeah, but generally you put Alfredo. The Alfredo. You get some cheese in there.
You like the noodle with some fucking, girth to it.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
but
all right.
I don't know. I guess it's just just pasta and tomato sauce. No matter the pasta, it's like, ugh.
You must be a fucking pip to take out with Chinese. We're going to get some chow mein.
I do love some Chinese.
Okay, so do you prefer chow fun or chow mein?
Chow mein?
But that's the skinny noodle.
Right.
Chow fun is the fatter noodle.
Yeah, they're too fat.
You don't know what the fuck you want.
I don't think any of us do.
I know what I want. I like spaghetti, motherfucker. I think you just need to. I'll give you the secret. If you ever make pasta for yourself or for your kid or for anybody, you gotta add a little bit of olive oil in the boiling water.
Yeah, no, I've done that before. It's still like, it's okay. Do you think Hitler ate spaghetti?
I don't know, baby Hitler ate spaghetti.
You ever think about like
with Mussolini as his buddy? Of course he ate fucking spaghetti.
Do you think Hitler ever had like sushi, Chinese food?
No.
I'll bet definitely not sushi, but
definitely not sushi.
Maybe Chinese food.
I don't know.
I don't think it was popular.
Not in Italy, not in Germany. I mean, I think. You really love going back to Hitler.
I don't know why. It crossed my mind, and I was like, "Man, I wonder what
your mind."
Yeah, I wonder what he's had. I wonder if the reason people are so hateful is because their like worldview is small. You know.
Well, maybe that's what I was talking about Joker. Maybe we shouldn't try to find a way of relating to Hitler.
Right.
Oh well, Hitler had Chinese food. He's all bad. Like
I love those people. They're like, "Well, he was a vegetarian or
he
whatever."
Had one ball.
Yeah.
That for me is my favorite thing about it was that he only had one ball.
I didn't know that.
Hitler, he only had one ball. Like, that's a whole fucking nursery rhyme.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's another one. Whistle while you work. Hitler is a jerk. Mussolini bit his weeding. Now it doesn't work.
Was Hitler tall?
I don't. I know he's about this high.
Oh God. We better wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we're doing a sig heil for Hitler's height. I think is a good one. So if you made it this far, thanks. Thanks, OC.
We're not bad people, I swear.
No, we're not bad people, but like we clearly have thoughts that will never ever come out on the air again.
It's important to get into this stuff.
Is it though?
Maybe not.
To fucking ask how tall Hitler was and try and give.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, like, did his
he walked
size
in a fucking
have
circle.
Did his size have something to do with like his? Was it like Napoleon, like the little man thing, or?
He had a lot of medical ailments with him.
What's great is like
He had like Parkinson's.
like throughout this, I'm like, let me quick Google. I got to show you Jennifer Garner's toe.
Yeah.
But then Hitler's height. I can't get out the phone and do that. I'm like,
all right, here I'll look up Hitler's height. We'll end it on Hitler's height. But
I'm putting money. Okay, I'm gonna try and guess it.
okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna go not too short, but short-ish. So people were shorter back. I'm gonna go 5'6". I'm gonna go 5'6".
You do know I'm 5'6", right?
I'm thinking Hitler's your height.
Oh my god, I fucking hope. I mean, I always say I'm 5'6 3/4". So this is a question I never thought I'd ever ask. How
5'6".
tall is Hitler, or was Hitler? How tall was Jesus? This is the suggestions. How tall was Jesus? How tall was Napoleon? How tall was Charles Manson? And how tall was Goliath?
See, Napoleon, everybody said was short, but like for the time, I think he was like an average height.
I think everybody in Italy was short. I think everybody. Ooh, what'd you say?
I said 5'6".
5'9".
5'9".
Taller than I expected.
That's like a pretty tall guy for back then.
Napoleon was 5'7".
Yeah, I think it was pretty normal.
Mussolini was 5'7". Churchill was 5'6". Charlie Chaplin was 5'5". I don't know why the fuck we're going through this now. Anne Frank, 5'4". I think we just ended on Anne Frank as out of respect after all this fucking Hitler talk.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Hitler.
I know you're not a fan of Hitler, but like you have some very interesting questions about the motherfucker.
I hope anybody listening
Did he ever
knows.
have Mexican food?
That's a good question.
Did him? Yeah, he fucking stole it from like. I think it's more likely that Hitler had Polish food, if we're really fucking being honest. Oh God, yeah, he definitely had Italian food. I'll tell you what he did have. He had Ethiopian food.
Like, I wonder what his favorite was. Like what was his like?
Cyanide. That was his fucking favorite. Everything that Hitler did was bad, and the Holocaust is one of the worst fucking atrocities that ever happened on the face of the planet. But I also don't like him as a person because he tested cyanide on his dog.
I know. There's something about him. He's such like a mythical villainous figure.
Yeah.
But I like to think of him as just like a fucking just a dude for some reason. Like just like what was the dude like? How did he make that decision? Like was he just chowing on a pizza and like how do you live with yourself?
What was his sex life like?
Yeah, like all of that, like the minutia of his life. Like, is this a dude that could just eat a pizza while telling his generals, what I mean?
No.
Like, there's just something about the man that is interesting to me.
I mean, look, there's one thing when you could take the
I'm not a fan.
No, I understand. I understand, but it's like the same thing of like, oh, I wonder what Frank Sinatra did. Like, we have these larger than life mythical figures that are just people. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
even like Jesus, like he had a favorite food. Jesus had a favorite food, for sure.
It wasn't a Jewish deli,
right? No, I mean,
and
it was like.
I mean, he may have gotten fucking lo mein at the corner store, but
I mean, how come there's not a show that asks celebrities this shit? I want to know, like, what does Tom Cruise watch on Netflix? Like, what's his favorite food? Like, what's his Pornhub category? Like, let's get into this shit with people.
All right. Well, look, if we're branching out of this fucking subject, let me think of a character and let me ask you a question. Okay, so do you think Charles Manson read while he took a dump? Or do you think he just sat and stared? And
I don't think he's a reader. I don't think he's a reader in general.
You think he was a writer? You think he wrote on the toilet?
Doubtful.
I would explain a lot of his music.
This music's not... It's not great.
No, but it sounds like it was written on the shitter.
I mean, I like Garbage Dump, though. Have you heard that song?
No. Garbage Dump?
Yeah, Garbage
There you go!
Dump,
He fucking
Garbage Dump. I can feed the world with my garbage dump.
Yeah, it was you talking out of his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Garbage Dump is. He's dumping out garbage. Okay.
That's another dude. He had a favorite food, you know?
But just because they have a fucking favorite food doesn't
No, it's just like picture that guy, like, you know,
chowing down on some pizza.
what he beat off to, you know?
I guarantee Charles Manson never beat off.
At what point are people going to start being open about like that? Like, is that going to go? Is that like the next barrier where people are like
beating off?
Yeah, like this is my thing. Like this is my Pornhub category. This is my go-to. You know,
like a Facebook thing.
Yeah.
You know, I always wondered why Pornhub gave that option of like, you share this on Facebook. Why the fuck would I ever share this on Facebook? I don't want anyone to know. First off, like my Pornhub category is very like I call it. I'm very vanilla with a dash of chocolate sprinkles. Like, you know, it's just I like big booties. That's really I'm very boring, but I also like very funny porn. Like I'll whack off the DaVinci Load.
I was watching a video on my friend's laptop, and his mom was logged in like to Facebook on it,
Yeah.
and this video was titled "Squirtinator Teaches You How to Squirt," and it was a video trying to teach women how they can squirt. And it's because his mom was logged in. I commented on the video with just like, "This is awesome, thanks." And just his mom's picture, and it went up on Facebook. A Squirtinator shows you how to squirt.
God, I'm so glad we're using your laptop for this. All right. I'll end it with one question. I've always wanted to ask you this: where the fuck did Octopus Caveman come from?
It's fucked up, but
It's more fucked up than like
no,
Hitler?
like because it's like confusing. But
But I don't even.
somebody-
I mean, I know your real name, but it's weird to even think of you as that is your name.
I know for a lot of people, like people that know my name, call me OC or
Yeah.
But I recorded an album, and it was like the first thing I had done with a bunch of buddies in Utah, and I was like, well, I don't want to use my real name. And I remembered I wrote this like book of poems, and it was like about an octopus and how he viewed the world, and then this caveman viewing the world. And I thought I called it Octopus Caveman, so I was like, well, just use that. Just put me down as Octopus Caveman. And then I got home, and I found that book, and I didn't call it that. So I don't even know.
It just sort of became your. Do you think of yourself as OC or Octopus Caveman?
No, it's complex because, like my ex-wife, she told me she married Anthony and she divorced Octopus Caveman.
Wow,
So it's got like
that's kind of a
baggage.
yeah. That's
And I played up
interesting
this-
burn.
I played up this like alcoholic persona a bit. So like my first album was called "A Drunk with a Dream," and I had
It's a good title.
you know, it was okay, but
Yeah.
I like really played into this like Bukowskian romanticizing drinking thing.
Right.
And it, like, I had a YouTube talk show that I filmed in my dad's garage, like, without his knowledge. I would go and film it in there.
Uh-huh.
And it was just, like, a talk show, but with drinking. So I was hosting it, and it was called Getting Fucked Up with Octopus Caveman.
That's essentially what Rico's Rants was.
It was just, you know, a show where over the course of this, you know, talk show, we got ridiculously hammered. So I'd record for a whole night and cut it into 10 minutes. And that turned into a podcast. But yeah, at a certain point, I was like, it just felt silly. So there's still some baggage, like, for me personally, wrapped up in that name. And I constantly think about, like, I got to just abandon that and I'll just go be me. But
I would say, I mean, like, it would be weird for me just to call you. Like, I could say your name on the
yeah.
I mean, it'd be weird to say, like, Anthony. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's a little weird that people know that now. Like when the Washington Post wrote that article about the paintings, it was like
I read it. I was like, "Who the fuck is Anthony? Like,
yeah,
what the fuck is
everybody
this?"
knows my name. Like I was anonymous for like 20 years on the internet, no problem. And then,
I mean, I will. Whenever I think of OC, I still think of Original Clone,
right?
like the original clone of Ryan Johnson. That was one of the best fucking things that I've ever seen. When you and I did when you did Cinema Wars with PodAskew.
That was a blast.
Because I had nothing. Your argument was good, but my argument was good too. But then it was like, I was like, fuck, I'm just kind of repeating the same argument. And where
Right.
you were like, well, let me tell you about this one. I'm like, are you just defending it because you look like Ryan Johnson?
Right.
And you were like, I do? And you kind of like, I saw you on
Yeah, I had
camera.
never looked at him before. I was
And-
like, he looks like a family member.
And you kind of were like leaning towards Twitch, like, holy fuck, I do. And that was for me, like, even if I lost the round, like, that was a win for me personally.
See, my old goal, I think my goal in life now is to star in the Philip Seymour Hoffman biopic.
That's Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, I think I look like a young Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Uh,
More so than Ryan Johnson. I mean, I'm a fat blonde guy, you know?
I mean, I don't know. I guess. Steph, what do you think? You think he looks like the dude from fucking Twister?
Fucking greening out.
Dude from Boogie Nights?
Major greenage.
You got to work on your Philip Seymour Hoffman voice, though.
I know. They're like, I'm going to find her.
Holy shit, that's fucking
I'm
good!
gonna hurt her.
Oh, man, you went Mission Impossible 3.
We're going to get out of here. I just sharded.
That's actually pretty good. All right, I'm convinced.
I got to work on it, and then I'll start pitching myself for the bio.
All right, we said it here on PodAskew. Fucking OC, Octopus Caveman, Anthony, whatever the fuck you want to call him, is going to play Philip Seymour Hoffman in Who Gives a Fuck. Rika here with a few thank yous and to let you know how you can get in touch with and follow the show and us. Listen to us on the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or anywhere else you find your podcasts. Please don't forget to rate and comment. PodAskew is a member of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Visit their website, bigheadsmedia.com, and follow them on Twitter at BigHeadsMedia. If you want to agree with or yell at us, follow CJ, me, and the show on Twitter. The show is at PodAskew, CJ is at M_Blade, and I'm at Rance Rico. We want to thank logo designer Mike for his work on our wonderful logo. You can contact him for artwork via email at logomike80@gmail.com. That's logomike80@gmail.com. Thank you to Dubbed in English for our opening theme music, 96 Reasons. Thank you to Samuel Lemons for our closing music, Theme Askew. You can find Sam on Twitter at Samuel Lemons and his music on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. Finally, our biggest thank you is to you, everyone, for listening. CJ and I really appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon.
You see what happens when you don't have me on the show to steer the ship? I mean, come on.
Damn it! PodAskew.